darkness. Burn away my sins. Help me serve you. I have prayed day and night for you to come to me.
Lady, I'd like to come sooner. The battle.
I know of your troubles, my king. The Lady Melisandre has told me everything.
Sillies. I've broken a sacred vow.
Oh, is that his wife?
I have wronged you. I have shamed you.
You're doing God's work.
I don't understand.
The Lady Melisandre has told me everything. No act done in service of the Lord of Light can ever be a sin. When she told me, I wept with joy.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, my sweet boys. Peter, Mama, Edric.
Oh no, that's fucking sick.
Every day for bringing Melisandre to us. She gave you a son. I gave you nothing.
That's not true.
Oh, what the fuck is going on?
You must keep away from such distractions.
She's my daughter. I want to see her.
The birds have scales, and the fish take wing. I know.
So I misunderstood then, because I thought he didn't have any children, that they couldn't have children. But it must have been just boys then.
You've grown since I last saw you.
Mother said you fought in a battle. Did you win?
No.
Did the Onion Knight come back with you?
He did. He fought bravely.
He made this for me. But don't tell Mother I have it. It's a secret. Mother doesn't like the Onion Knight.
Sir Davos is a traitor. He's rotting in a dungeon cell for his crime.
Don't worry, I'm not interested. If I faint, pull me out. I don't intend to be the first Lannister to die in a bathtub.
Why should I care how you die?
You swore a solemn vow, remember? Not going so well, is it? No wonder Renly died with you guarding it. I'm apologizing. I'm sick of fighting. Let's call a truce.
You need trust to have a truce.
I trust you. You heard of wildfire?
Of course.
The Mad King was obsessed with it. He loved to watch people burn. Arrows saw traitors everywhere. So he had his pyromancer place caches of wildfire all over the city. Beneath the sept of Baelor and the slums of Fleet Bottom, under houses, stables, taverns, Robert Baratheon marched from the council after his victory at the Trident. But my father arrived first. The whole Lannister army at his back, promising to defend the city against the rebels. I urged him to surrender peacefully. But the king didn't listen to me. Didn't listen to Varys, who tried to warn him. But he did listen to Grand Maester Pycelle. Grey sunken cunt. So we opened the gates and my father sacked the city. Once again I came to the king, begging him to surrender. Ban them all, he said. Ban burn them in their homes, burn them in their beds. Tell me if your precious Renly commanded you to kill your own father and stand by while thousands of men, women, and children burned alive, would you have done it?
That's definitely something he's been struggling with his whole life, isn't it?
The king turned to flee. I drove my sword into his back. Burn them all, he kept saying. Burn them all. I don't think he expected to die. He meant to burn with the rest of us and rise again.
Why didn't you tell Lord Stark?
Stark? You think the Honorable Ned Stark wanted to hear my side? By what right does the wolf judge the lion? By what right?
The King's there!
Jaime. My name's Jaime.
Sir Onion Knight.
Princess. Gods, what are you doing here?
You'll wake Bert.
Bert,
He's the fat one. He's on guard duty tonight.
If your father
He
knew...
said you're a traitor. Are you?
Bezies agiligle.
Skoroso dziewi broza?
Torco nudo.
Torgo nudo. All Unsullied boys are given new names when they are cut. Grey worm, red flea, black rat. Names that remind them what they are. Hezer broza dziewi gemele drebeletas. Menteri evanie e vesteletas keskidos sogamagon.
Torco nudo hocas bezi. Same broji beri. Shibroji es bezo senestas kimbroto. Quinile shibroji melezesco mazedas terari vabustar. I torco nudo saji broji es bezi egitovi. Daenerys gelmasmo. Jiteptas jiderfe.
King Robert wanted her dead. Of course he wanted her dead. She's a Targaryen, the last Targaryen. I suppose no one on the small council could speak sense to him. I didn't sit on the small council. No? Wasn't the Lord Commander of the King's Guard traditionally? Traditionally, yes, but I killed a dozen of Robert's friends during his rebellion. Still, she'll have to wade through that muck if she wants to rule the Seven Kingdoms. She'll have good men around her to advise her. Men with experience. Which man do you have in mind? Well, forgive me, Sir Jorah, for what I'm about to say, but your reputation in Westeros has suffered over the years. Suffered for a reason. I sold men into slavery. We both want her to rule. Am I wrong? You only joined us a few days ago. I can't speak to your intentions. If we are truly her loyal servants, we will do whatever needs to be done. No matter the cost. No matter our pride. You're not Lord Commander here. You're just another exile. And I take my orders from the Queen.
There's so much information in this one.
I can't force them to meet us in the field. And I can't attack them where they're strongest. But I can attack them where they're not. And Casterly Rock can't run away. I'm going to take their home away from them.
Can you do it?
I need men to replace the Karstarks who marched home. Walder Frey.
That didn't take long.
Well, it took long enough. Seems our Knight of Flowers is engaged to be wed.
Is he? And who's the lucky girl? I have good news. I'll be leaving the city soon.
You still want me to come with you?
It's not a question of what I want. It's what you want. You want to go home, don't you?
Of course, more than anything. But maybe it would be better to wait. I've been thinking how dangerous it would be. Not just for me, but for you. You've been so kind, I'd feel terrible if anything happened to you.
We'll speak again when I return.
Stop that. You're making me uncomfortable.
Your sister has learned that your new friends, the Tyrells, are plotting to marry Sansa Stark to Sir Loras.
Very well. She's a lovely girl. Missing some of Loras's favorite bits, but I'm sure they'll make do.
Your jokes are not appreciated.
It wasn't my best, but I thought...
I bring them into the royal fold, and this is how they repay me. The young wolf has lost half his army. His days are numbered. Theon Greyjoy murdered both his brothers. That makes Sansa Stark the heir to Winterfell. We find Sansa Stark a different husband.
Wonderful.
Yes, it is.
You can't mean it.
I can, and I do.
Joffrey has made this poor girl's life miserable since the day he took her father's head. Now she's finally free of him, and you give her to me? That's cruel, even for you.
Do you intend on mistreating her? The girl's happiness is not my concern, nor should it be yours.
She's a child!
Sansa Stark is a finer reward than you could ever dare hope for. And it is past time you were wed.
I was wed. Oh, don't you remember?
Only too well. You'll marry Sir Loras.
I will not.
The boy is heir to High Garden. Tyrion will secure the north, you will secure the Reach.
No, I won't do it.
Yes, you will. You're still fertile, you need to marry again and breed.
I am Queen Regent, not some brood mare.
You're my daughter! You will do as I command, and you will marry Loras Tyrell. And put an end to the disgusting rumors about you, once and for all.
Father, don't make me do it again, please.
Not another word. My children. You disgraced the Lannister name for far too long.
Alright, so, wow, that was an episode, very sort of like informative episode, so a lot to take in, a lot of like different scenes and that, so yeah, wow. I think it's one of these episodes where, you know, the guys were showing their loyalty, or had to show their loyalty, and yeah, beliefs as well, so... Yeah, beginning there we had the Hound, Beric and Arya Gendry. The whole the Hound had to fight Beric, and he won and killed Beric, and they brought Beric back to life, and obviously Arya was not happy about that. It seems like Beric and that lot there have the same beliefs as the priestess, like the Lord of Light, so they're like praying to the same God, and it's only one God, isn't it? And that God can bring them back to life, and I suppose it's, yeah, there's like magical stuff, because obviously with Stannis, his son, the son that the priestess and him had was some sort of shadow thing, whatever, and yeah, why not be able to bring people back? It's a bit weird, but you know, there's a lot of weird things in this show, so yeah, they let the Hound go, and obviously because he won, and yeah, Arya wasn't happy about it, but you know, they're like, it's only for the God of light to judge, it's not for them to judge, so they have to let him go. Then you had Jon and Yvette and Tormund and what was his name? Orell. Yeah, I think they were testing Jon to see where his loyalties lie, wanting to know where the crows were, what castles they were at, and they didn't quite believe him, but Ygritte did, and yeah, she ended up taking his sword and it's a bit of a phallic symbol type thing, isn't it? She took it and went down into the cave, and yeah, I think he basically had to prove to her that he's not a traitor, that he is one of them now, and obviously, being a night watch, he can't sleep with women, so he had to prove himself to her that he's with them, and I don't think he is, but I think he had no choice then to sleep with her, to prove to her, or to to play the game, I suppose. So yeah, I think they quite like each other, but yeah, I don't think he felt good about sleeping with her. Yeah, I think he is Night Watch through and through. I might be wrong, but I'm hoping he is. Yeah, then we had Jaime and Brienne arriving at Harrenhal, where Bolton was. Yeah, Bolton didn't seem too happy with Locke, the fact that, he cut the hand off. Bolton did tell Jaime, what happened, and the fact that his dad is at King's Landing now, and that his sister is fine. So I thought that was quite good of him. He could have lied and told her that Cersei was dead, and Jaime wouldn't know any better. So yeah, I think he's quite a good guy. He's pretty straightforward. There's no bullshit with this guy. Yeah, I quite like him. Yeah, then obviously Jaime had to go and get his the rest of his hand or arm cleaned, and the guy was like, "I'm gonna cut off your arm," and Jaime was like, "No, you're not." So I quite liked that. He didn't want to be sedated in any way, which I can kind of understand. He's a prisoner, and he doesn't know what they potentially could do to him if he's out of it. So yeah, he chose to get it done without any anesthetics or any sort of thing to knock him out. So yeah, I can understand why, but that's gotta freaking hurt. Then we had Olenna and Tyrion having a bit of discussion with the price of the wedding. Yeah, I think Tyrion underestimated Olenna. Obviously, she's quite switched on. She knows exactly what price they've had to pay, the Tyrells have had to pay to, get in with the Lannisters, I suppose. This war is costing everybody a lot, and on their end, it's, food and livestock and, yeah, money as well. So I think Tyrion was quite surprised with how switched on this woman was. I don't know what it is with these Tyrells. They all sort of seem to have this talent. I don't know if it's a talent, but like being able to seduce people, manipulate people. It's almost like that's what they can do. Where some of the families, they're able to do sorcery or whatever it is, and it seems to be their talent is to manipulate and seduce people. So yeah, I definitely think Tyrion had a bit of respect for her in that situation, and her willingness to pay half the wedding, which she didn't have to do. So yeah, I think obviously the Tyrells, I think they have a lot riding on this as well. So to get power or gain power, yeah. Then you had the little scene with Arya and Gendry, where Gendry's like, "I want to stay with the Brotherhood," which I can fully understand. He's always been what I suppose a slave in a way, hasn't he? He's never had a choice of what he wanted to do. He's been, he had to go and be an apprentice. I don't think that was a choice, and he had to serve somebody. So now he has a choice of joining up with free men whose leader was chosen by them and not somebody who was born into it, I suppose. So yeah, I think he saw a lot of himself in those guys, and he has a lot of respect for that. which I cannot blame him. I'm starting to like these guys, knowing what they're fighting for, so or their beliefs and that. So, no, not beliefs, but it's not a strategy. I don't know what the word is, but they're fighting for what they believe in, and I respect that. They're not just going to take a side just to take a side, knowing that what these guys are doing is wrong. So yeah, Arya obviously was very upset about that, but yeah, she's going to lose Gendry, who is almost like a big brother to her after losing all her own family. Gendry, I think, is the closest one to family, so obviously she's upset losing him. Then we had the two Lannister cousins, the young boys, getting killed by Karstark. A bad move. I can see why he wanted to do it. He lost his son because of the Lannisters, but yeah, killing these boys. No. You don't kill young kids. It's no. Yeah, I think Rob did the right thing. The guy betrayed them, and now they don't have anything. The Lannisters are, obviously not going to be happy about them killing what seems like Rob being a part of killing these two Lannister boys. It's not a good move, and I think Rob had to show an example of these guys. Otherwise, his people are just going to walk all over him. You can't let people get away with this sort of thing, because you're just going to have anarchy, aren't you? Everybody's going to do their own thing, and you got nothing. And so I can understand why he made that decision. Then you had Arya, Thoros, and Beric. Obviously, she was curious to ask, how many times Beric had died and how many times he's been brought back to life. And I thought that was quite interesting. You can just see what Arya was thinking. It's like, well, can you, bring my father back? And they were like, no, it's not how it works, But yeah, she's very intrigued by this, like she was with Jaqen. I think she's opening her eyes to a lot more stuff than she knew was existing, if that makes any sense. All this, being on the run and that, it's opened her eyes to all sorts of things that she didn't knew existed or didn't have any knowledge of. So I feel really bad for this girl. She's a young girl, and at least with Bran and Rickon, they have each other, and Sansa, she's got people as well. So yeah, I feel so bad for Arya. She doesn't know what is happening, and now she's basically what's the word? Not a bargaining chip, but a way for these the Brotherhood to get something out of Rob, because obviously now they can treat her as a little hostage, can't they? So to get something they want. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Sorry, I'm cutting this. I'm so tired, so I'm yawning, so I'm having to cut that out. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy what's going on. It's just, Then you had Stannis' wife and the daughter. I think I misunderstood the whole thing, because I thought Stannis and his wife were not able to have children. I didn't know they had a daughter. I might have misunderstood that or missed it somehow. It was quite shocking. His wife is obviously, I don't know whether she's been seduced by the priestess as well, or whether she did believe in the Lord of Light. I don't know if that's been her religion all along, or whether she's been converted to it. I'm not sure, but the priestess had already been up there to talk to her and told her everything that happened, and she was fine with it, because it was something that the gods told them had to happen or something, and she accepted that, which is very strange, I think. As well as that, she had these glasses with dead babies in. I mean, it's obviously their children who died. I don't know whether giving birth or died straight after or a little bit after, because they sort of looked at different stages of. They didn't look the same age when they died, so I would imagine they were boys, and that was the reason why Stannis was so desperate to have a boy. It's very. That's not right. That is not right. I mean, these glasses there. No. I mean, just seeing that it's a bit weird, but it reminds me of a Danish TV series, or like a horror TV series called The Kingdom, where there was this little girl as well who was in this like glass thing. Her body was in there, and it's like ghosty stuff happening, and it just reminded me of that, and that just freaked me out. You saw the daughter, half of her face, obviously some sort of disease. Not quite sure what it was, but she survived it, and I don't know whether they're locking her up because they're ashamed of her or what's going on there. I guess we'll find out, but obviously something wrong with her, but she seems like a really sweet kid, concerned about Davos. She really likes Davos, which I can understand. I can imagine he would be really good with little kids like that. So obviously that's probably the only human contact she has. I would imagine it's Davos, and then her mom and dad. So she considers Davos a friend, which is quite sweet. And obviously she went to see Davos because she'd been told that he was a traitor, and he told her he was, and she doesn't care. She likes this guy. I suppose he's like a second father who's a bit more, shows a bit more humanity than her own father, who is a very what is the word? I don't think he's not very good at showing emotion. Whereas Davos, I think he's better at it. I don't know how to explain these things. I think you know what I'm on about, though. But she wants. She doesn't care what they're gonna do to them. It's like, well, what are you gonna do? Lock us up? Which obviously Davos already is, and she seems to be locked up as well. So she wants to teach him how to read, and that was a really sweet scene. I like this girl. Then we had Barristan and Jorah and Dany. Dany telling these guys that I'm not happy with your slave names. Make up your own names. And this guy was like, well, this Grey Worm, was significant to him because that's the name he had when she freed him. That's the gist I got out of it. So then obviously you had Barristan, and he had a conversation with Jorah, and saying that Jorah, he's not seen very well in Westeros, obviously because he sold slaves, so that could be a hindrance for Dany. It's almost how he came across is, I think he's right, but I think Jorah and Dany's going to see it as he wants to push Jorah out. Jorah's been there from the beginning, and Barristan is coming in as this new guy. We don't quite know what his intentions are. We don't know anything about him, really, do we? Well, we do, but they don't. So it seems like he wants to push Jorah away, and I'm not happy about that because Jorah is probably one of the guys that I have the most respect for. He's been himself from day one. He's not changed his mind about anything. Very loyal. Just a really good guy, and he's probably one of my favorite guys in this show. There's nothing fake about him. He is real, and yeah, I don't want to see him get, just kicked out. That would be heartbreaking. I don't think Danny's going to, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I can see where Barristan is coming from, but no, I'm not happy about it, Then we had Robb beheading the traitor. He had to, didn't he? Because you saw in the very first episode of season 1 when Ned beheaded the deserter himself. So Robb had to do it as well because he is the leader, isn't he? So yeah, it's not like the Baratheons and Lannisters who get other people to do it. Robb did it himself. And then he sort of realized that, well, he really needs to attack Casterly Rock, which is obviously the home of the Lannisters, and it's about the only place that he can take with the number of men he has. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But being able to do that, he's going to need what's his name, the weirdo guy with all the kids. The one with the twin tower. I can't remember his name now, but yeah, the one where he had to marry the daughter. He's gonna have to get him with him, and I don't think that's gonna happen, is it? Because he's betrayed them now because he's married. Yeah, he's married now, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but yeah, we'll see. Littlefinger. Again, he's got his finger in everything, doesn't he? He's just playing everybody, isn't he? He's getting his information, and obviously this guy that Loras ended up sleeping with, I don't know if it was one of Littlefinger's boys, but obviously finding out that Sansa is to marry Loras, and that's not good for him or the Lannisters. So yeah, he's obviously I like the sort of scene you had with him and Sansa. They were trying to work each other out to sort of get information, and I think both of them played it really well. I think Sansa realizes that he is not one to be trusted, and she's got to watch her back around him especially. So yeah, everybody knows what's going on now. Well, they know that Sansa is to marry Loras, and that's not good for the Lannisters. The end scene I thought was very good with the 3 Lannisters. It was quite interesting how Cersei was just sitting there like, yeah, you are going to have to marry Sansa, in your face kind of thing. And until she found out that, well, she was having to marry Loras, which she wasn't happy about. And she did sort of beg her father, like, please don't do this to me again, she said. And obviously she was forced to marry Robert, which she didn't want to do. So, yeah, I can see where she's coming from. But, don't be so mean to Tyrion if you know what had to happen to you, and, why would you just sort of laugh at him for having to marry Sansa, something he doesn't want to do. Yeah, Tywin is just all about power, isn't he? He doesn't care about these kids. They're just pawns, aren't they? Yeah, I need you to marry Loras so we can get the Tyrell, and I need you to marry Sansa because then we've got all the Starks, which means we have all the power. Yeah, it was a good episode, but it's very hard to react to. There's just so much information, like information overload. There wasn't a lot of action, which meant you had to pay more attention that you would have to do if there was more action in it. But yeah, very enjoyable episode. There's a lot of things set into place here, so yeah, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen next. My top 5. Number 1 is Jaime. Oh, I didn't speak about that, did I? Yeah, well, this is why Jaime's number one. I thought it was quite touching, him telling the story about his king being the Kingslayer and why he killed the king, the Mad King. You can see he struggled with it. It was not a decision that he just did just for the hell of it. I think ever since he had to put down the Kingslayer, not the Kingslayer, the king, he's been struggling. Obviously the king, the Mad King, told him that he had to kill his father, which, you know, nobody's going to want to do, regardless of how sick your father is. It wasn't just the fact that he had to kill his father, it's the fact that, you know, a lot of children and women and that were going to get killed as well, and Jaime just had to make the decision to save these people, which I believe is the reason why he did it. He had to save all these people from dying, and yeah, it was just never told. His side of the story, you know, nobody knew about that, and he's struggling with that, and I can, you know, it is something you would struggle with, seeing all these people die, and then, you know, having to make the decision, well, I've got to save other people, and so I have to kill the king, even though you know what the consequence could be. I thought that was very touching, and you can see Brienne felt for him as well. There's a reason why he's sort of acting up. He's hiding a lot of emotion, and yeah, just trying to make other people feel bad, I suppose, by trying to make himself feel better by making other people feel, you know, bad. Yeah, I hope you understand what I mean. So yeah, Jaime's my number one. I thought that was very touching. He's an asshole, but there's a reason for it, obviously, and there it was. So yeah, my number two is Tyrion. He's very clever, isn't he? The scene we had with Olenna, he understands the money side of it as well, and he's very well. He's really switched on, and yeah, the scene at the end where he's forced to marry, like he said, a child. It was disgusting, and obviously he didn't want to do it. I think he has the right morals, hasn't he? And the fact that he was forced to marry Sansa, and he sort of had the a go at his dad, like, yeah, well, I've been married before, you killed me. Basically, you know, I was married before, remember that? And it's obviously something that plays on his mind. He loved this girl, and yeah. So yeah, Tyrion's my number two. Number three is Dany. Like I said, I completely misunderstood the end scene in the last episode, and here you can see that she's got very strong feelings about slaves, and wanting to set them free, and then, you know, let them give themselves their own names. You know, I can see why she would want to do that. I'm still a bit worried that she's going a bit power crazy, sort of like Cersei. But at the moment, you know, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt that, you know, she is doing it for good. But we'll see. See what happens. Number four is Rob. It's very hard for him, as he's a young guy, and it's a very hard decision he's having to make. I think he's making the right decisions. I don't think he had a choice but to execute this guy and set an example. I know his mom was a traitor as well, but she didn't kill anybody. So there's a difference between his mom being a traitor and this guy being a traitor. So yeah, I can totally see why he had to do that. And yeah, he's got it hard. I like that. Not like that. I like him for dealing with it in the way he is. And then number five is Arya. I can totally see, obviously, why she wants the Hound dead. I like the Hound, so I don't want to see him dead. But I think her eyes are opening to all these things that are happening. Jaqen obviously was able to change his face and kill people, and these guys here are able to come back to life. So there's a lot of things that she's sort of experiencing on her travels. So I feel really bad for her. She's she only got herself, really, doesn't she? And she hasn't seen her family in a long time. So yeah, I feel really bad for Arya, and yeah, she's my number 5. My bottom one, number 1 is Tywin. Like I said, he doesn't give a toss about his children, as long as they don't embarrass him, and they can do what's good for him and his family name. Cersei's being forced now to marry again against her will, and the same for Tyrion. Yeah, the guy's lost it. You can live a happy life without all this power, surely. I'm sure you can live a happier life without all this power and that, yeah. I hate this guy. He's a cruel guy, and yeah, he's my number 1. Number 2 is Karstark, who killed the 2 Lannister boys. You don't kill boys. I mean, I know they were sort of maybe late teenagers, but no, it's a sick thing to do. I can understand he wants revenge, but that's not the way to do it. And now he's set off like Cat did. He's sort of setting off. Well, yeah, it's gonna have a consequence, isn't it? And yeah, so he's my number 2. Number 3 is Orwell. He was really having a dig at Jon, which I don't like. I think Jon's coming around. I'm not as mad at him as I have been. Yeah, he was really having a go, which from their side I can understand. He wants to make sure that Jon isn't a traitor. But yeah, I didn't like the how he treated Jon, and there wasn't any other really bad guys in this episode. So yeah, he's my number 3. Number 4 is Selyse. Stannis' wife. We've only just been introduced to her, but yeah, she's not right in her head. She's a bit mad. That's really the only way I can describe her. Obviously very religious. I mean, just keeping those little babies in the jars. Oh, glass. Is it glass? I don't know. Whatever. Keeping those dead babies. I mean, that's sort of like kind of just brings me back to The Walking Dead as well, with the governor. Yeah. If you watch Walking Dead, you'll know what I mean. So yeah, I don't like her. She's not quite right. So she's my number 4. Number 5 is Barristan. I love the guy, but I don't like the fact that he's gonna try and push Jorah out. No, I'm not having that. I love Jorah, and no, I don't want to see that. So leave him alone, Barristan, and you'll come on the other side. So yeah, that was that episode. A very enjoyable episode. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. And yeah, I've got Patreon if you guys like to check out the full episodes. They're on there, both for Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. And just want to thank you guys for commenting on that, and not giving me any spoilers or hints. It really means a lot for me and for you guys watching it, that I don't know what's happening and that. So thank you guys for that. And yeah, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And thank you guys, well, thank you new subscribers for joining as well. And I will see you in my next reactions.